Before I get on to introducing the man I'm very honoured to have as a guest today, I'd just like to say my own personal love affair with Dario's work began. I was 15 years old, 1987. I got hold of a copy of Suspiria on one of those very old budget VHSs and had to watch it very quietly in my bedroom because my parents were next door. Sound down low, 14-inch TV, pan and scan copy, really not the way to see Suspiria, but even then I knew I was watching something unlike I'd seen before. I'd been raised on American horror movies, slasher movies that were very much in vogue at that time, and Suspiria just really did change my world and change my views on horror and what it can do. So from there I went out, found all of Dario's other work, the Italian directors who influenced Dario, tracked down their work, the movies he produced, all of that, and so began my love affair with Italian horror. So after that long and rather waffly intro, I'm now going to introduce the man who needs no introduction. Would you please welcome to the stage Mr. Dario Argento. Okay, I'm going to start this interview by talking about Dracula 3D, and then we're going to go back to some of your other work. Yeah. I mean, we were very hopeful to have it here for this festival, but of course it couldn't happen. But it is going to get a release, isn't it, in the UK in February, is that right?
Yes.
So
February or March, yes.
Wonderful, so we all get the chance to see it. Yeah. Tell me, after 40 years, an amazing 40-year career, you've done a couple of period films in that time, but it still feels quite a surprising choice to make Dracula. Why did you want to make Dracula now, after 40 years?
There's many reasons. Because it's a long story. Sorry. I was in United States in a convention. During this convention, we have the retrospective of films in 3D, old, very old, with the glasses, red and green. And one of these films was Dial M, like Murder from Alfred Hitchcock. It was shooting in 3D, and then it was releasing in 2D because it was too expensive. It changed, every theater changed cameras, projection, so impossible. I have a privilege to see the film in 3D. And in 3D was marvelous, was an experience always with Hitchcock is a marvelous experience. But this was something like a dream to see how he used the deep, the profound, the man and the wall. And after the wall we have windows, and after the window we have another buildings, and we have all this profound, marvelous use, and I was enchanted.
Okay, how closely are you going to stick to Bram Stoker's book? Is it a very faithful adaptation, or do you give it a Dario spin?
In part faithful, in part not. Because I want to, I change the story. I introduce some transformation of the Dracula, because I think if Dracula in history we have seen like a dwarf, like a bat, possible to have insect, to have a rat, many others, a cockroach, different. And this is spider. I like to see the transformation, and also I want to in the film to see the side romantic of the Dracula, the side the love, some sexual. This is I like the.
And violence, because I read somewhere that you said you wanted to bring out the violence in the vampire legend. Is it going to be nice and violent as well?
Yes, of course.
Tell me about working with Rutger Hauer, because I've interviewed Rutger a couple of times, and he's absolutely mad in the nicest possible way. I mean, how did you find working with him? Was it a good relationship?
Well, very good relationship, very good. So, he has some problems because we know that Rutger has having problems in his life. But one time we wait, he comes, we wait, he wait, don't come, and then we call the police, everybody, and nobody found. He was in the bush by a car, with a young girl. He's lost. He lost in the bush, and don't found the street to come back. And then police comes, and he says, "Sorry, I'm sorry, but she's important. She's very important girl." Yes, so she was a Russian. I said, "Oh, yes, I know that." Well, but it's a man. He helped also when we work together. He helped because he have idea. It's smart. It's no just an actor. He's an actor with the spirit, some good spirit. Was marvelous to work with him.
I love the idea of Van Helsing in a bush with a Russian girl. That's a new take. Tell me, isn't this the first movie where you actually kill off Asia as well, your beautiful daughter?
Yeah.
You've put her through many torments in the past. How was it to actually finally kill her off on screen as Lucy?
Yes, the destiny was. After so many films, one time she must die also.
You'd had big hits before Suspiria, Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Deep Red, but Suspiria was really the film that took you to a new level with an international audience. When you were making it, did you know you had something very special on your hands?
When you shoot the film, you don't see this is my best, this is my worst. The film is a film. It's good or not, but you try to do the better for me, for my part, to do the better, to do something best for audience, for friends, for fans, and then when I shoot, but I have an idea to do something very special with this dance academy, with all the young girls, something very special. This is the idea I have. But not like it was maybe my best film, maybe.
When you do, I mean, you're very famous for your visual style, and especially your set pieces, the kind of elaborate death scenes. That opening scene of Suspiria, that opening 12 minutes, how do you create something like that? Is it all in your head? Do you storyboard? How do you make something?
Yes, I think before shooting the films, I want to do some initial scene, during 15 minutes. No, and then never finish. One scene, another, like a nightmare, when you are in your bed. You have a nightmare. Nightmare is like this. It's like a monster. Again, one scene, another, until you wake up. Continuous, and then this is I want to do something. The experience in the movie, the real nightmare, and like also some crazy scene, a crazy moment, symbolic, something inspired by painter, by the many, the Kokoschka, by many others. It's some crazy scene, long scene.
Now, of course, there's a Suspiria remake on the cards in America. I think it begins shooting in October the 8th, I think it is. Am I right in saying you've had no involvement in this, no one came to you, they didn't ask your ideas or input, that you know nothing about it?
No, I don't know also the name of director. I don't know and nothing. Nobody called me. Nobody answered me something. Nobody. These people like me don't exist. I don't know why.
David Gordon Green, who's the director of the Suspiria remake, he said he's going to make his version more psychedelic than your version, which seems rather ludicrous. What are your thoughts on that? Is it possible to make Suspiria more psychedelic?
Oh man, this is very funny.
Now, I don't know how many people in the audience are aware of this, but something Dario's been working on recently is on Italian TV. They've asked Dario to come up with 100 great horror films, 100 of Dario's favourites, and they're going to screen them 2 a week over the next however many weeks, 50 weeks. And you're going to introduce them, aren't you? I mean, can you tell me about how you chose your films, your favourite horror films?
My favorites are 100. I like horror films, and also from the silent movie to today. It's like a long travel, long voyage in this marvelous world, and I come back. For the first time, I come back critic to speak about every film, to describe how the situation was, the director, was the actors, was the age when the film was made. It was something I like to do that.
How many movies of the last 10 years you had? I mean, what do you think of horror films in the last 10 years, and were there any special ones that you really liked and you put in your 100?
In the last 10 years, I think we have some films from Spain, it's interesting, from France too, like La Horde, like the film like this.
Okay, here's a big question, Dario. How many of your own films did you choose in the 100?
What?
How many of your own films, Dario Argento films, were in the top 100?
I choose 6 films.
6 films? That's great. Can you remember what the 6 films were?
Was Suspiria, Deep Red, Phenomena, and Tenebrae.
Bird with a crystal plumage?
Bird with a crystal plumage, exactly.
Opera? Did you have
Opera, it's finished.
That's it. Okay. All of those films you chose, you made between 1980 and 1987. Were you not tempted? Were there any films you made in the last 15 years that almost got in there that you're proud of, that you liked?
No, this is the next 100 films. Next.
Can you tell me a little bit about your horror roots, like how old you were when you first got into horror movies? Which Italian directors influenced you and kind of made your love of horror come up to the surface?
Italian director influenced me?
Yeah, the films you grew up with, Mario Bava,
yes.
Did you?
Mario Bava, especially Mario Bava, and I was influenced. But I was very different. Mario Bava was much more ironic in the films, and people say I influenced by Mario Bava. I'm not sure of that. I think it was influenced much more from Hitchcock, from the American films of the 50s. But critics say I'm influenced by Mario Bava. I accept. Okay, I'm influenced by Mario Bava.
During the period that you were doing all of your classic movies, it was a real golden era for Italian horror. Did you like the other Italian films coming out at the time, like House with the Laughing Windows, Cannibal Holocaust, movies like that? Were you a fan of them?
This is difficult to say. No, because many films was imitated by me, and I was little accept of this, because I do a trilogy of the animal, and we have 100 films with the animal in the title. I was not so happy. I do with George Romero zombie, and then we do zombie with 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is something I was not so happy.
What is the condition of Italian horror now? Is it very hard to get funding now? Because obviously there were so many movies in the 70s, well, from the late 50s to the early 80s. And now there's not many. I mean, is it because it's hard to get the money to make them in Italy now?
Yes, because it's difficult to do films with special effects cost very much, and without special effects now it's difficult to do a horror film. I think for a moment the horror films, Italian horror films, it's Sleeping Beauty.
Okay. In a minute, I'm going to open it up to the audience, because I know many fans here, they want to ask questions. But just before I do, I want to go right back to the start. When you were working on the script of Once Upon a Time in the West, I mean, can you tell anything about working with Sergio Leone? Because he's another great Italian visual stylist. Did you learn anything off Sergio?
Yes, of course. I work with him for months, and yes, I learned from him. It was a man just visual. When they speak about a scene, you saw the scene in front of you, really like a real. It was really a dreamer, marvelous, and he suggests me a lot, especially because he say the cinema, it's the camera, not the story, not the character, actors. It's the camera. The camera is number one. I understand that. No, I don't like to remake films. Maybe, I don't know, if I do remake my films.
No, any other horror
The others, from the others.
Any horror?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe a film of Lucio Fulci I would like to remake.
Thank you.
Big part comes in from my dreams, from my nightmares. Yes, it's marvelous to sleep, to have a dream, symbolic, strange, with strange animals comes and wake up and write the films like to be with the psychoanalyst. It's very important. Something impossible to do today without CGI. Because it becomes too primitive, too impossible, I think. But CGI, we see, when we see in films, we see this is CGI. You immediately you understand that this is CGI. This is no good for the film. We must to found something, but it's very difficult now. I would like to do another giallo. Yes, I like some films or some film giallos. This is my fantasy. Yes, I would like to do another film giallo a lot. I'm a big fan of the art, of paintings and sculpture and architecture. It's an obsession when I was very young. When first times I was to the Parthenon in Greece to see this marvelous, great things, and thinking today Greece is in so terrible condition. It's all the Occidental civilization come from Greece, the literature, drama, sculpture, architecture, everything comes from Greece, and now Greece is in so bad condition. It's something terrible for me, really terrible. It's one time I was 2 months ago, I was in Greece for 3 days, and I cry because it's now Greece is condition awful. You don't understand how terrible, and we say thank you to Greece because we are. If you are everything, it's come from Greece.
Just one last question from me before we wrap it up. Do you also, I mean, your films are very beautiful, your use of music is beautiful. Do you also find beauty in the violent image as well? Because the way you use even murder, death, blood, it has a very painterly look to it. I mean, do you find something operatic, something beautiful in that?
Yes, of course, something like like a old from South America, you know, the Incas, Aztecs, you know, blood and like a feast. It was so for me. It's like this. It's a feast. It's something imagination. It's not real. It's symbolic, most.
Okay, before we say goodbye to Dario and give him a rousing send-off, just want to say that Dario is going to be outside signing Alan's new book. He's updated his book, Profondo Argento. It's now called Dario Argento, The Man, Myths and the Magic. Completely updated up to Dracula 3D. Wonderful book. Dario will only be signing the book. He will not be signing posters or anything else, just the book. And the way we're going to do it is anyone who would like to get the book signed, if you could please queue where the people who have been asking questions are queuing, and we will then take you out, hopefully in an orderly manner, to get things signed. So that's what we're going to do. And now I'd like everyone to please join me in thanking very much Total Film's special guest, Dario Argento.